Welcome to Growing Younger Health and Fitness podcast designed for people over 40.
Good to go. Okay. Hello, team. Well,
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of our podcast. And today we decided to pick a topic that's actually quite relevant to some of you, and it will be diabetes. Okay, so we're going to talk about type 1, type 2, what the difference is, and Gavyn is going to share his very simple, very easy explanation of what diabetes is and how what actually happens in your bloodstream in your body when you have diabetes. And we're also going to touch on the topic of exercising with diabetes. We're going to try and clarify some myth that people have about diabetes. So off we go.
Very good. Okay. So I guess with diabetes, I'm probably going to start this off with, this is medical advice. I'm not a dietitian. We're not prescribing anything. It's kind of advice that you would get on the diabetes website. Okay. That's kind of, we're going to go there, but I'll try and put it into context and on our observations at Growing Younger, people we've helped over the years with this stuff. So I guess you got, there's kind of three things. You got pre-diabetes, you got type 1 diabetes and type 2. So pre-diabetic usually is like the onset of what diabetes, you're going to have that eventually if you don't modify your lifestyle. And then you got type 1, which is like a genetic thing, right? So it's like, you're born with it or, whatever else. So I'm not going to talk about that because that's not my expertise, and you should absolutely be talking to your doctor about that and having insulin and everything else. But type 2 diabetes, I think we can definitely discuss and make things a bit easier. So I guess one of the biggest misconceptions about type 2 diabetes is that you can't have any sugar in your diet at all. And if you think in that way, it becomes a really big challenge because you can't eat normally, and it's just like it becomes so restrictive and everything else. But you can have sugar in your diet with diabetes. Ultimately, what it comes down to a type 2 diabetic anyway, that is somebody that is not producing enough insulin or not efficient at producing insulin to get rid of the sugar in your blood. So the way the best description I heard of diabetes was, it's like a lock and key scenario. So when you eat sugar or carbohydrates, then your body, I think your pancreas will secrete insulin to be able to put the sugar into your cells. Now, the important thing to understand is that our bodies like to run on glucose. Our bodies are developed over the years evolutionarily to use sugar to energize our body, okay? And our brains need sugar as well. So people will say that we don't need carbs and you should be keto. And all that aside, right, we need glucose in our body. And the fact that we produce ketones in absence of sugar, because the blood can only run on things like sugar, means we need kind of that energy, right? So that's it. I'm not going to debate that too much, but what I'll say is a lock and key scenario. So you produce insulin, and then you got all this sugar in your blood, glucose in your blood, and it needs to be put somewhere. So the really purpose of insulin is it transports the sugar around, it goes to your muscles, and it goes, right, knocks on the door, puts the key in the door, and it opens up, and then they put the sugar into the cells, and then gets out of the blood, and it goes on to the next cells. So the thing is with insulin or diabetes anyway, it becomes inefficient. This means that the lock and the key doesn't fit very well. So therefore, you can't put the sugar into the muscles or the cells, and it stays in the blood. And if it stays in the blood for too long, then it becomes toxic, then it's life-threatening, okay? So what we tend to see is that if you're exercising, then you're using the glucose in your muscles and your cells to power you through the sort of exercise, which means that if you are type 2 diabetic or pre-diabetic, then if you start to exercise, if let's just say in your muscles, there's like a certain amount of, glycogen, I think, isn't it, in the muscles? Yeah. When that gets used up, then it means there's space now for more glucose to get put into the muscles. So if you exercise and when you use the muscles, the glycogen's being used up, then it creates space, then insulin comes along, oh look, it fits. The lock and key now fit, put sugar back in the muscle to restore the glycogen, and you move on. So if you are pre-diabetic or type 2 diabetic and you're not exercising, that's probably one of the first things you should start doing, because then you're using your body's glucose and glycogen. Then the keys and locks fit better, therefore you got less sugar in your blood. hopefully that explains that.
So if I would like to summarize it, what you just said, like not exercising, essentially it allows that lock to get rusty and the key doesn't really fit very well.
Yeah.
And if you keep exercising, it keeps the lock, oiled and lubricated and the insulin works really well and the extra sugar from your bloodstream goes into your cells quite easily and gets used as it's meant to be used, which is energy, right?
Totally.
Cool. No, that actually does make sense. I think one thing that I'm kind of aware of is like when people talk about diabetes, you always hear the advice of obviously not eating sugar, being very careful about what you eat, which is true to a degree, but you don't really hear a lot about exercising.
No.
But exercising is as important, isn't it? So you should definitely be kind of considering that aspect as well.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember like being a physio years ago, I had a patient who was referred to me for a gym-based rehab program, and we got him into the gym, and halfway through the session, he started feeling really unwell. He did not have known diabetes, so he was never diagnosed. He was a little bit overweight. He looked a little bit unhealthy, but he did not know he had diabetes. So anyway, he started painting on me. He had to lie down, and then he kind of got a little bit better. But then I said, look, we need to find out what's going on. So he went to see the doctor, and so he ended up actually having type 2 diabetes. So obviously, if you're not careful and if you over-exercise, if you push yourself a little bit hard, this can happen. So how do you manage that? Like in terms of exercise, in terms of making sure you're not going to run out of sugar levels in your bloodstream, how do you manage that?
Sure. I got a similar story actually. So I was in the police. We had a guy that crashed his car. I thought he was drunk. He wasn't. He was diabetic. And then we give him a banana and he picked up. So same thing does happen, right?
Wow.
So that is it really. It's just having sugar on hand or a piece of fruit or eating a meal before you exercise. All those things will keep your blood sugar level stable and you'll be able to get to the workout. But if you tend to have those episodes, it's literally keeping a fast digesting carbohydrate handy, and usually a banana or a sweet drink will do the trick.
Right.
So yeah.
You hear that a lot about type 1. So type 2 will be the same, will it?
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So you can't really harm really with that, and especially with type 2, it usually works fine.
So it's like a little emergency kit. Just in case.
Totally, yeah, being prepared. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Good.
All right. Well, I think that kind of covers that aspect, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
There you go. That's kind of us. So I guess if you've got any questions or the diabetes stuff, by all means, leave a comment down below. But honestly, there's some really fantastic resources out there. And diabetes.org.nz is fantastic. It's got everything on there. It'll kind of gives you some diets and meal plans and everything else as well. And even dispels a lot of myths people have around diabetes that you can't eat sugar and you can't eat fruit because you've got too much sugar in it. All that's kind of nonsense. It's not true. It's taken well out of perspective. So jump on the website, have a look, do your research, speak to your doctor essentially, because it is very much a medical thing. Yeah. But honestly, the doctors usually prescribe losing weight, exercising, and eating more healthy. And like I said, we are absolutely qualified to talk about all those three things. So that's kind of.
And hey, prevention is always better, isn't it? So even if you don't have diabetes, but you are maybe a little bit overweight, you don't exercise enough, you're not eating well, unfortunately, you do run a risk of developing diabetes somewhere further down the track. So it's better to do something about it now before it's because once you do have diabetes, even though you can certainly make things a lot better, you already have it. Okay, so it's kind of if you can help it, if you can prevent it, that's always better way of dealing with it.
Absolutely. All right, guys.
All right. Take care. We'll see you on the next podcast.
See you. Okay, guys, so I hope you found the podcast of value. If you did and you're struggling with your own health and fitness journey, there's a link in the description for a free discovery call with me. And that free discovery call, we're going to cover off a little bit about you, your history, your goals, what you want to achieve, and maybe we can help you or not with your own health and fitness goal. So if that does sound like something that you'd like to do, then click on the link in the description, and I look forward to chatting to you in the very near future. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.